Joshua. Good. How are you?
Great.
Hi.
It's a little bit. We got all jacked up. Stuff this morning and yesterday afternoon. We had a lot of people here yesterday. Gosh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
We really need a new place.
Definitely.
Y'all see something for rent that you think we can afford?
Yeah.
Let us know, because dang, this place is just getting too small.
Well, that's a good thing.
It is a good
It's a
thing.
good thing.
It's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, I see a lot of places move before they're full to capacity, and then it's like it dies out because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
I figure get the people first and then move.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I think we're at the point that we could take 150 seats or even 200 and at least fill it 2/3 most weeks. So
Yeah.
that would be ideal. It's just a matter of finding that place. You are not what I need right now.
I think this next section is hard.
Hey,
It is the Shua.
Hmm?
It is really hard.
this next one is annoying.
I'm pretty sure it's the hardest vowel to learn.
It's not the hardest vowel, but
It's
it's
just the
Pretty hard.
haze and with the A and it's just hard to throw it all together. I think maybe I should have stayed and watched this one on the next week.
I hear you. Chapter 4. Eric said he can't make it. I think Melissa's doing the outreach, so she won't be here. Who else are we missing? Yannette. There's some more people.
What's his name?
Yeah, I know there's a couple people watching from home, so we're probably good to go ahead and just get started and let people trickle in if there's anybody left. Because today is going to be a little bit of a pain.
A little bit of a doozy.
What's that?
A little bit of a doozy.
Yeah, the vowel that we get into has some rules that go along with it. And sometimes it's this and sometimes it's that. So we'll have to spend a little bit of time going over that because it's a new thing for us. But before we do that, we'll have to look at our exercises from chapter 3. So on page 26, exercise 1. This was matching sounds to English words. Now remember, we're just looking at sounds. We're not trying to match letter for letter, we're looking for sounds. And sometimes English words have one sound that would be a different kind of vowel in Hebrew. So starting right to left, all the way on the right hand Hebrew column, the top one is
Oh.
Hmm?
Hot.
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 Oh, wait a minute.
Hey, tatak, tav. Hot.
No, I'm trying to do it. Oh, right here.
Yes.
No, I
Far
was
right in.
going on the English
The
side.
Hebrew column.
Yeah.
Hebrew column. We'll do Hebrew because that tends to be less confusing if we
Yeah.
work from the Hebrew.
I got you.
Then the next one down,
Let.
let. Good. The next one,
Hello.
home.
Home.
Home. Do you see it there, Gabe?
Yes.
Is that what you had?
Yes.
Okay, you just skipped it. Okay. And then the last one,
Hello.
hello. Good. Then the next column,
Ray.
Ray.
Ray. Good.
Rut.
Rot.
Rut.
Rot. right? In English, it's got an O in it, but for Hebrew, we're talking about an ah sound, so it's got to be a patach, or it could be a kametz. But in this case, it's kametz. Could be a patach. How many years and I still get those backwards? So the next one down. Met. Good.
Rail.
Rail for the last one. All right. Now, exercise 2, you had to write these out. These are always the fun ones. So, bet. How are we going to write bet?
Bet in the top.
What's that?
A bet in the top with a
You're going to have bet,
Sagol,
sagol,
and then top.
in the top.
tav.
Yeah.
Yes, my letters are going to be kind of swirly. That's my handwriting. It's just. Then Rome, you had 2 possibilities. So,
Resh.
Reish, Mhm.
A home chaser.
Holam,
Holam Haser, yeah,
Holam Malay or Holam Maser.
Holam Haser, and
And the Mem in the final form.
Mem.
Sophie.
Mem Sophie. And then it could have been
The same
Like
thing,
that.
but it had no.
right. Could be either Holam. There's Yannette. How you doing? Good. We're just getting into the exercises.
Yeah. It's a weird name.
Is it a little too tight?
No, it's different too.
What's that?
There's a lot of. They're on it too.
Oh, they had breakfast here this morning.
Yes.
Let me grab
It's
it.
sticky.
Let me grab a cloth. Doing housework on live video. Fantastic. Okay, so that was letter B, Rome. How about wrote?
Race,
Right?
What page?
column,
Holam,
and top.
26.
Holam,
Right. Holam Malay or Holam Haser and
A tie.
Tav. It could be that way or it could be that way. How about D, rate?
Raish.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the name of the vowel.
Today.
The 2 dots.
Right, the 2 dots.
The
Zere
Zeri or Zerio.
or Zeriod and Tav. Right? They didn't give you 2 lines there, but there were 2 options. Then letter E.
Raish.
Reish.
Holam Malay or Holam
All
Maser.
right, we have our Holums
Or
and
Lamed.
Olam. Now we don't double L's. We don't double lameds in Hebrew. So even though it's in the English one, we don't need 2 lameds there. We only need the one. We just need to make the sound. All right. How about the next one? Whole.
Hey.
All right. A,
Holams.
the Holums, and
Lamed.
Lamed. can be either Holum or Malamed. All right, on the next page, letter G.
Raish.
Letter G. Hail.
Oh.
Yeah, I know it's so weird having to switch back and forth between the right, going from the right to the left. But
Hey,
hey, yep,
either the Sari
yep, Zeri or Zeriod
and Alamed.
and Alamed. Good. And then H. All right, hey,
Either the Sari.
either of the Zeris.
Either Zeri or Tav.
All right, and then a Tav. All right, and then Robe,
Raish.
Raish,
Holums.
the Holums,
And Bet.
and a Bet. How about Rob?
Raish.
Raish.
Raish,
Commits or Patah.
Mets, over up at top,
And a Bet.
and a Bet. The next one is Hem, which would be a hey.
Okay.
Yep,
It's a
Seagull.
Sagol, because we're looking for that
And
N,
then
and
Sophie.
then Sophie. And then the last one, L.
Hey.
Hey,
Seagull.
Sagol,
Lamed.
Lamed,
And
Oh,
Holummalay. Right here. Holummalay.
Holam Malay, or Holam Masera. Now, generally, we don't see that as an ending. We don't see a Holam at the end unless it's a suffix of some sort. I can't think of a single word that's going to end with a Holam Masera. Can't think of a single one. There's no ending that I can think of. But these exercises are about making the sounds, not about making real words.
This
So-
is just gibberish.
Right, these are just gibberish.
That's
These
what
are-
we sound like too, huh?
yeah, these are complete nonsense. So
We'll be
we're not
gibberish for
that
quite some
worried
time.
about those kind of rules. Okay, great. We'll need that for right now. Then, reading. Now we get to practice. Hopefully we practice at home. Because practice is important.
Not necessarily successfully, but we did.
Right. But any attempt is a good attempt, right? Practice makes perfect. You're not going to be perfect every time, or even to start at all. My kids all take piano. I forced them to take piano for 2 years. And
I quit.
you quit it. You did your 2.5 years and you were done. That's fine. But what was the deal? Whenever you started a new piece of music, was it good?
No.
No, it was never good. It was always terrible. But if you do it slowly and methodically and practiced it correctly, by the time recital came, it was perfect, right? You'd knock it out and you'd have no problems. That's the way this is. Practice it slowly and carefully and in time. It'll be like nothing. You won't even think about it. Okay. So who wants to volunteer here for line A, exercise 3?
That's gonna be the easiest line. That's what
Bring it to me, Carol.
All right, you're gonna have to help me out with
You've
this.
done this class before. I have high expectations here.
Okay, so the first one is hell,
Hell,
and then hell again.
Nope.
No, bell,
Bell, there
Bell.
you go.
and then the next one is a mem, right? With
Yep.
The M's.
Mhm.
It's Mel,
Mel, excellent.
shell,
Yes,
tell.
yes.
This one is with it opened. There's a hell. That's an H, right? Sound. Okay, so that would be separate them up, right?
Separate it.
Okay,
Break up
hell,
your syllables.
Rel, Who?
Ha,
Oh, yeah, because it's a pitch or whatever. Okay.
it's a commence. Yep.
Okay, so it's ha, rel,
Harel.
harel.
Good.
Okay.
And then the last one?
is ha, lel,
Good. Hallel.
halal.
Excellent. All right. Felipe, you want to try line B?
Row,
Row. Mm-hmm.
low,
Yes.
hello,
Hello. Yep.
shallow,
Shallow. Yeah.
below,
Good.
below,
All right. Hello.
tello.
To low. Good. Yanette, you want to try line C? No. Okay. Deborah, line C for me.
Ray,
Good.
May,
Yes.
Shame,
Good.
Tame,
Tame. Good.
Malay,
Yes.
Moray,
Yes.
and Hare.
Excellent. Gabe, line D.
Tame,
Tame.
shame,
Shame. For the purposes of what we're doing, we're looking at making sounds. Yes, this was the thing we talked about last week where in Israel you see that you're going to say Shem for name. But here we're not looking at words, we're looking at sounds. So for the purposes of the exercise, it's shame.
shomame,
Shomaim, good.
lo shame,
Oh, shame, excellent. Yeah.
lo mame,
Lomaim,
holame,
good. Joshua, line E.
Ra,
Yes.
shema,
Shema, good.
that's gonna be a shot. Shot.
Mhm.
Shallow? No, shallow.
I think you skipped a word.
Wait, that's gonna work? This one.
Yep.
That's not this one. I'm on the right.
Hmm?
No, I'm on the
Third
The
one.
third one.
I'm on the. I thought I said that.
No.
I didn't.
No.
Shara.
Yeah.
Shara.
Yeah. Shara.
Shara. Shela.
Shela, good.
Sherbat.
Sheba.
Bema.
Bema, good. Okay. All right, now they get a little harder. We're back to you, Carol. Line B of exercise 4.
Line B.
Line B.
So that would be. So that would be Tara. Tar. Which one is it? Tar.
Line B.
Oh, B. I'm sorry. No, I'll pass. Is it Sham?
No, not Sham. The
With 2 dots.
the Zere is a
Zere is a A sound.
right, an A sound.
Sham.
Long A.
Long A.
Shame.
Shame.
Right.
Okay, shame.
Shame. Uh-huh.
Okay. This is an oct, so that would be T, ta, sha.
That's not a tav.
No, that's a ha.
That's a ha. There you go.
Ha.
Ha.
And then we're looking at the long A, right? So
Yep.
sha,
No, not sha.
sha. Hmm, 2 dots. That's a survey, right?
Yep.
A,
A. There you go. Ha.
ta,
Ha.
sha,
Ha. Shame.
shame. Okay. And this is with the 3 underneath. It's not, I always get my 3 dots in the,
Is it the 3 dots?
That's not. It's not the 3 dots.
no,
Come on.
It's a commence,
it's a commence. Okay.
Mhm.
not a shabbat or a sigil.
Okay, so it's Ra,
Ra.
Ra, Sha, shame.
Shame. There you go.
Shame.
Rashaim. Excellent.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
shame.
Good. Roshame.
Shame. Well, shame. No, that's a T. T at the end. Shot.
No, don't change the vowel. Same vowel sound. So we're still shaped.
Shaped.
Row shaped.
Shaped.
Mm-hmm.
This is ray.
Mm-hmm.
Shaped. Ray shaped.
Reshet.
Shaped.
Reshet. Remember when you have two segols, what happens?
Cigarette.
Oh, it's a single word.
It's a seglet. The emphasis moves back one syllable from the end.
To the front.
Not to the first syllable. In this case, it does fall on the first syllable because there's only two.
Okay.
But if there were three, it would move to the middle syllable. If there were four, it would move to the third.
So it's where you put the accent, right?
Right, it just moves it back one from the end. Okay. Felipe, give me line D.
Leo.
Lael, good.
Layla.
Layla,
Halel.
good.
Hala.
Close. What's that first vowel again?
Hela.
Hela, good.
Halo.
Good.
Halo.
Halal, excellent. All right, Deborah, how about line F?
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
The first one should be easy. It's a vocabulary word.
It's Torah.
Torah, good.
Okay. Hurrah.
Hurrah,
Hurrah.
mm-hmm.
Mo-ra.
Good.
Mo-re.
Ret,
Re.
yep.
Mo-re.
It's a short A. So ret.
Yeah, I see that, but I don't know how to. So let me do that one again. Then it's a mo-ra.
Moret.
Mo-re.
Moret.
Okay. All right. Show top.
Good. Show top.
Show tech.
Good. Yeah, perfect. Show tet.
Okay.
All right, Gabe, line H.
Shell.
Good.
Shallow.
Shallow.
Shala.
Shala. Good.
Chalet. Shala. Shala.
You got she. You got the law. What's our last syllable? Haim. Right. Remember to get that hey in there. Shala. Haim. All right. The next one.
Shalom.
Shalom. Good.
Shalem.
Shalem. Good. And then line J for me, Joshua.
Tele. No. Tala. Talam. Talaha.
Tala. There you go. Yep.
My bad.
You were trying to put the memo in there. Tala. Good.
Talo.
Good.
Talot.
Talot. Good.
Tale.
Tale. Mm-hmm.
Talal.
Talal. Good. And
Tale.
mm-hmm. Talel.
Talel.
Talel. All right. Good. All right. Who wants to try line N?
I'll try it.
Anybody want to be a victim?
I'll try it.
All right.
All right. So
You say M, like-
Bale.
M, or N, sorry.
Oh, and
The very bottom
the
line.
very bottom one.
Yep.
I was doing M. All right, so moat,
Moat, good.
shamote,
Right, shamote.
lay, loat,
Hmm.
hello, wait a minute, hay, lay,
Right.
halolote,
Halelote.
halolote. Oh, that's not a double, that's not a, I really have to get reading glasses. Hashemote,
Good. Hashimote.
Hashemote.
Very good. Okay. Let's go on to chapter 4.
And the nail biting begins.
Yes, this is where the fun really starts.
And
Because this is going to present our first set of rules that you really do need to know.
rules.
These are super important.
Rules.
But we'll get to those with the vowel, not with the consonants. So
Oh.
we now have 4 new consonants here, at least 4 new symbols, 3 new sounds. There at the bottom of page 29, bottom of page 29, we have the first one, which is a nun. Noon. And its Sophete form comes only at the end of a word, a noon Sophete. Now, I should open this back up because when we're doing the nun or noon, you have to be very careful because a noon can look very much like a bet if you're not careful. Writing them out properly and making sure that this is on here for your bet is going to be important when you're writing these out. Make sure you've got at least a little bit of a tail there. I mean, I'm exaggerating here, obviously, but it is important to have that. And the noon, Sophete, so we have our regular noon, right? Our noon Sophete extends below the line. So if your line on your paper is right there, that noon Sophete comes below the line. It's longer than other letters. Children. Okay, and they both sound like RN. Fairly easy to get that one. It's just a N sound.
Name.
Then here we get 2 silent consonants.
No.
We get the aleph
And the
and the ayin. And you think, why are these silent? Well, I didn't make this language up. But basically what this does is it allows for a vowel sound all by itself in the middle of a word. Or even at the beginning of a word. A word like Elohim is going to start with a silent consonant. It's going to
cause
start with an aleph.
or an ayin.
Well, it's definitely aleph for Elohim. We have Elohim. And yes, my handwriting's terrible. So we have not had,
I was gonna say we
That-
haven't had
that
that yet, okay.
not yet.
Wait,
That's our E. That's a Heric. That's our
Wait,
E
Dad.
sound.
And now we'll always have the,
No,
Yod
it's
or
just, it's like
whatever
this
that
area
is.
in that it has a yod form.
okay,
In this case, it's an ending. The Heric yod mem is a plural ending.
okay.
So it's kind of funny that we refer to God in the Torah as Elohim, because it would be Elohe or Elo something.
Okay.
Drawing a blank at the moment, but the singular form is not what we use. We use the plural form for God, which, of course, now we're like, okay, now it makes sense to us, today because we're like, oh yeah, God is 3.
3 and 1.
Right.
The Trinity.
So it allows for that vowel sound without a consonant. whether at the beginning, middle, or even at the end of the word. The pronoun he, like he's sitting there, is actually who,
Really?
but it has an aleph on the end. Why? I don't know. This is one of those things that is like, why would you even need that aleph there? It doesn't do anything. It's called a quiescent aleph. That's not going to be on a test or anything like that, but you will see them in the middle of words. Alephs just thrown randomly into words with no vowel around them. You just ignore them like they're not even there. And it has primarily to do with where the word came from, its root initially. And somewhere along the way, it stopped using it, but they left the aleph in there because the root is important for the meaning. So, line A on page 30 would have you make the sounds of the consonants themselves. So you'd hit the aleph and the ayin, and you'd be like, I don't say anything here. Aleph is silent, ayin is silent. So the first line, line A, you have n, because an n at the end of the word is just going to say n, and then aleph is silent, ayin is silent. N, r, aleph is silent, ayin is silent. N, l. Okay, y'all see that? Kind of get where we're going with that. But then jump down to line C. When you have the vowel following an ayin or an aleph, you're just going to say the vowel sound. So you see an aleph with a commence. Ah. Just the vowel sound. Ayin with a batak. Ah. O, then O, then A, then A, then and Now we start throwing in the real consonants here. No. Uh-huh.
No.
Nah.
Nah.
Ne.
Nah, I don't want to.
Ne. Yes. And nay. Good. If we drop down to F, we start putting in a little more here. For ain, right? There's no first consonant sound. We're going right to the vowel there, so it's ain with that nun sofit ending. Ain. Then the next one, nain. The third one, hain. Rain. Own. Good. Roan. Tone. Yes. Shane. And lane. Okay? Is that making sense to y'all? Y'all kind of getting a feel for it? I totally hear you. It's a lot. Let's drop down to line I. The first one. Nama, good. Naman. Uh-huh. The third one. Haman, good. The fourth one. Haran, yes. The fifth one. Ranan. Uh-huh. Ranon, good. Ronain. Mm-hmm. Ron. Good. Look at line J. First one. Ane. Good. Ane. So you have that ain with the seriod, which says A, since there's no consonant sound there. Then you have the second set, which is the nun with the seriod. So A, nay. The second one there, sorry. Array. Array, sorry. Array. I went from A and A to array. The third one. Arar. Arar.
That's hard for somebody who has issues with pronouncing R's,
It-
which is me.
I had a lady from Boston in one of my classes. That was just
And she was politically correct.
Yeah.
Came from,
They don't even have an R in Boston.
right?
Okay,
Okay.
the fourth one.
Array.
Rare.
It's really hard for me to do those R's.
It's
those
hard with
R's
the
like
double
that.
R's. And then the next one.
Array.
Aurel.
Orel.
Raw. Around.
Oral. Good. And then the last one. Aram. Aram. Good.
Lord, those R's are gonna kill me.
Yep, they
Their
are.
shins, I keep pronouncing them with a W.
Yeah.
Or I'll start this way, and for whatever reason, I could start reading back from my left to my right, and I skip everything in between.
It's hard to go
You know?
the way you go English, Hebrew, and you're having to change the direction from
Yeah.
line to line what you're having to read. So you get used to it. You'll start to. It just becomes habit. You're making new pathways in your brain, right?
Yeah.
So that eventually it will become a habit to think, oh, okay, it's Hebrew, I'm going from the right. It's English, I'm going from the left. And no, I can't do anything about pronouncing your R's. That's that just
I
takes
couldn't either all my
practice. All right, if we look at line K, we get our Aleph in the middle, our Aleph and Ayin in the middle of the word. So the first one,
They are.
right, leah, lay, and then the second syllable, ah. There's no consonant there to make a sound, so it's lay, ah.
Isn't that a name?
It is a name.
They
And the next one,
are.
Ray, ah. Yep.
Ro. Ro.
Ro, ah. Good.
Ro.
Ro,
Ro.
eh. Ro, eh.
Ra.
Mhm. And then the fifth one there,
Ra. Yeah. Ra.
there you go. Ra, ah.
Ra.
That can be a little hard, so feel free to stop. Just ra, ah. Break it up because we're not used to doing ah. We're not Hawaiian. So where they have like 15 A's in the middle of the word. It's ra, ah. There's a little bit of a break there because of that consonant and the doubling up of the ah sound. We don't want to slur it together and make it ra because that's not the same thing. Ra, ah. And the next one, ra'am,
And Ra.
ra. Good. Ra, the very last one, ra. That ayin on the end is silent. It's not adding anything in
And
terms
always
of
be at the
the
end.
pronunciation of the word. And then
Will
line,
always be at the end.
the one before that, ra'am.
No, it won't. It's the non.
You have the ra, the resh, kametz, ra. The ayin is silent, so you have another vowel following it. So ra, ah, with the mem on the end.
Where are you at?
Ra'am. Yes.
Oh, right here.
Then line L, the first one,
Sha'a. Sha'a.
right? Sha'ah.
Sha'on. Sha'on.
Good. Sha'on.
Sha'on.
Ha. Sha'on.
And Shabbat.
Shabbaton. Good. Sha on. And then the last one. Sha all. Don't throw a lamed in the middle. It's at the end, not in the middle. Sha all.
All right.
Okay. Now it's time for your minds to be blown here. Page 31. We introduce the schwa.
No, I hate this. I
SH apostrophe VA or SHEVA. That's how it is spelled. Do they spell it in the back of the book? They should spell it in the back of the book. They do. They do it with the apostrophe. Now, the schwa
Is hard.
it can be a pain in the neck. It's very short in terms of its pronunciation. It's more like an sound, like it says there, like an alone.
Shalom. Shalom.
Alone or occur. Just a little grunt. Basically, is all the sound it makes. Just an That's when it's vocal. Sometimes it's going to be silent. So at the beginning of a word, it's always going to be vocal. You have to make that sound at the beginning of a word.
Which is
So that first line of Hebrew there, l ma, l ma, lama. When you get going fast with it, it's almost going to be like slurring, like you're smashing the lamed into the mem. Lama, lama. It's going to be a very, very, very short vowel sound in there. Lama. The next one, buma, buma. Really quick, buma. So break up your syllables. Absolutely. That's how you're going to get your sounds. That's how you're going to get your practice and your rhythm. Once you start going faster with it, that schwa is very, very, very short. B'may, the third one. B-may. B-may. The fourth one. Right. Sh-may. Shmay. 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 You will see it completely disappear in some.
So is it correct either way? Is it correct shmay or is it shmay?
For what we're doing, add a little bit of a break.
Okay.
Shmay.
Okay.
We will have a tendency to slur some things together based on our English pronunciation. So shmay is not necessarily hard for us to do, but let's break it up just a little bit so that we know that there's a vowel there, because there
Okay.
has to be a vowel. You cannot have
Just
a sheen and a mem
then
together without some
Okay.
vowel in between them. So shmay,
shmay,
then shanay.
shmay,
The fifth one there is shanay,
shmay,
shanat,
and
sh-not,
bunay.
and banay.
Okay.
Now, it shows up at the end of the word. It's always silent at the end of a word. Always, 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 always silent. Like it's not even there. Now you might say, why does it bother showing up at the end of a word if it's silent? In some cases, it shows up at the end of the word because it's trying to show you that it's part of the root word versus being an ending. In particular, later on we learn about the kaf and the kaf sofit. Or did we already have the kaf? I'm confused. No, we haven't had the kaf. Okay. But we have had. We have Baruch. No, gosh, what? I'm confusing Hebrew 1 and Hebrew 2. The kaf sofit at the end of a word here is always going to have a shva in it or
Smash over.
a commit.
We're all like, what is it?
Why is it not showing up?
Kelly, your ink color is black.
No, it's not. It's showing up here. It lost connection somehow, I guess. What happened? Oh no. Well, bummer.
It still says it's 1:41.
I know. So 5 minutes ago it got off.
It's okay, we weren't using it 5 minutes ago.
I know. I don't know what happened.
Reconnect.
I can't disconnect. I don't know what happened.
Should I also turn it back on?
Well, something just happened.
All right, at the beginning of the word.
Short break. All right, now we're back. Okay, So- the word for blessing.
I looked at that.
Baruch.
I
That's
see
a
that.
resh. I didn't extend that far enough.
I see the
Baruch.
Shabbat.
Now, that's a kaf sofit at the end there that says ch. Okay? Kaf sofit at the end of a word can be one of two things. It can either be part of the root, which in this case it is. The bet, resh, and kaf are the root. So this, and this are the root. However, kaf sofit also shows up at the end of a word when it's possessive, meaning your. Becha, your house. In that case, it's going to have a commence in it. It is a possessive ending on a word. So a kaf sofit is always going to have one of those two things. It's either going to always have a shavah, or it's always going to have either a shavah or a commence. The reason being is because if you don't know the language very well, and you're not sure of whether it's an ending or not, they want you to be sure, so they put a shavah in it to say, no, that's not an ending. That's part of the root word. So there are times when it shows up at the end of a word in order to let you know this is part of the root word, it's not part of an ending. Because it can get very confusing. Because some words or some consonants are used for both. So that's why it shows up at the end of a word. So when you look at the second line of Hebrew on that page, the first one is mat. There's no additional sound. It's not t. On page 31, second line of Hebrew, under the end of the word, at the end of the word, mat, ot, not. There's nothing additional that you have to do there. It's purely, in these cases, signifier saying that's part of a root word. There's no ending here. Why this can get confusing is because when you have no vowels at all, and you see a kaf sofit or a particular thing that looks like it could be an ending, either you know that word or you don't. So they put it in the Masoretic so that they can say, we know this is an ending or this isn't an ending. Again, this is for the beginners, not for the native speakers. They're going to know. When it's in the middle of a word, that last section there, that big old block of text, usually it's silent if there's only one in the middle of a word.
Is there two?
So what happens is it acts like a stop in the middle of the word. Look at the very last line of text on the bottom of the page, the last line of Hebrew text. When you have a single shavah in the middle of a word, it acts like a break in the word. So that first one, sham, ra. There's a break there. Some pronunciations will still put it in there a little bit, shamara. that's a matter of who your teacher is, kind of a thing. The rule is generally, if there's one in the middle of a word, it's a break. So sham ra, the second one. Sham na. Sham known. Sham roan. You have this break in the middle of it. And again, once you get going faster, it's sham ra, sham roan, sham na. You start to put them together a lot faster, and the break isn't so obvious. But for beginners, and when you're starting out here, just think there's a break here. I'm going to stop my syllable. Sham ra. Two different things. Now, there's an exception to that rule, and it's when you have the same consonant on either side of it. As long as my thing is still working. Oops. Jeez. I'm going to break our syllables here. Ha, le, lu. Yes, we have not had this yet. But ha, le, lu. We can't push those two laments together. We have to have a vowel between them that's making a sound. Because we wouldn't want to go hal, lu. Because that doesn't feel right, it doesn't sound right, it just doesn't work. So we have to pronounce that schwa there. Ha, le, lu. Now we will often overemphasize the schwa there. Ha, le, lu. But it's really a ha, le, lu. Hallelujah. When you're going fast. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Right? That's what this is. This is praise God. So when you have a schwa in the middle of the word, if it has the same consonant before it as after it, you're going to have to pronounce it.
Okay.
Okay? Does that make sense to
We
y'all?
have to pronounce both.
Both lameds. And in order to pronounce both lameds, you have to have that vowel sound in the middle. Ha, ha, le, lu. Right? That makes sense?
Yes.
No? Okay. Clear as mud. Fantastic. Now, when you have two schwas in the middle of the word, that is where it gets a little annoying. It takes a little bit to think about this. The first schwa is going to be silent.
It's gonna be the break.
The second one's going to be vocal. First is silent, second is vocal. So, back on page 31, third line of text in Hebrew. The first word is what? When it's at the end of a word, it's silent,
Silent.
always silent. So, tall,
Tall.
tall. The second word,
Marrow.
right, moreau, moreau. The third one, what we're doing is we're taking the first one and the second one, we're putting them together.
Narrow.
Good. Tall, moreau. That first one is silent. The second one is vocal.
So the lamed with it underneath is silent?
Yes. Tall, moreau. What I've always done in the book is that first one, I'll cross it out. I will go in there, I'll put a little slash through it to remind myself, here's my break.
Okay.
Tall, moreau.
So when they're together with the consonants, the first one is silent.
Second one's vocal.
Okay.
However, it is possible to have two in a word that aren't side by side.
Okay.
So you could have another vowel in between the two. And in that case, you kind of got to play with it and see which sounds right.
Okay.
But when you have two side by side, first one silent, second one vocal.
Unless if they're both the same consonant.
Unless there's a doubled up consonant there.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Now, if you switch over to page 32, at the top of the page, it's just explaining what we talked about earlier with the doubling up of consonants. The way, the order that they do it in the book is a little strange. Oh, look, they're back. So we already covered this part of it. So if we go down to the reading practice, who wants to try line A?
I'll try it.
Go work.
Just be patient. Tolo?
No?
Tole.
Tele. There you go. Tele.
Tole. Tore.
Tere. Good.
Nashe.
Nashe. Good.
No. Ne.
Name. Good.
Ne. Mo. Mo.
Ma.
Mo.
Lay.
Le.
Malay.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Right.
Because we didn't have a yod in between the
Right.
aleph
But
and the.
you don't have to have a yod with a zera. It
Right.
can be one or the other.
Right.
So, and the aleph at the end is going to be silent.
Silent. Okay. So, beret
Beret. Good. And
and hare.
hooray. So what it's trying to do there, you see that the last one is ha-ray
Hare.
versus hooray.
Right.
Right. It's trying to get you to recognize that there's a sound difference there between the shvat and the commence.
Okay.
Right. So we have beret and then ha-ray. Because we're learning like that, we're going to have a tendency to overemphasize the ha, but it's hooray versus beret.
Okay.
It doesn't sound that different when you're putting emphasis on the last syllable. Okay. How about line B? Shamo, good. Shiro is the second one, good. When you have one alone in the middle of the word, it's going to be
Silent.
silent, so it's going to be a break there. Sham, sham, ro, sham, ro. The next one, that's an exception to that rule
Okay, why?
because we have two ratios.
Two ratios.
It's in between two ratios. So sha, ra, ro. Sha, ra, ro. It's not a natural sound. Sha, ra, ro. Sound like Scooby-Doo. And then the last one, right? Tosh. Good. Tosh, ma, ro.
So that's silent because
The first one silent, second one vocal. Tosh, ma, ro. Good. Okay. In an effort to alleviate what's going on in the back, I'm going to try to get us through here. We now have what we need to make our next vocabulary word. Skipping down toward the bottom. Shema. Something that we say every Shabbat. Shema Yisrael. It's a word that means hear, listen,
Shema.
or obey, depending on the context. We know in the Shema, Deuteronomy 6:4, that it's hear or listen. Hear, O Israel. Listen, O Israel. Adonai is your God. Adonai is one. You could say obey, O Israel, but it doesn't really fit properly there. they're wanting Israel to listen up, right? Hear us. So, Shema comes from the root Shin, Mem, Ayin, which means hear, listen, or obey. That's our vocabulary word. Know it. If you look on the next page, page 33, it shows you the Shema and what it looks like. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. There are a lot of substitutions for the name of God. The Yod He Vav He, they tend to avoid writing in prayer books and things like that. So they will often do this double Yod thing, where they have a Yod, Shema, Yod, commence. Yeah. Well, we're not saying yeah. When we see that, we say, oh, they're substituting. It's Adonai. We just say Lord there instead of yeah. That is a substitution that they do to avoid writing the Yod He Vav He.
Because this they say
Sorry?
they don't write it
Because it's sacred. It's his name. We don't take it in vain, right? That's a commandment. And so they are very, very, very serious about that. When they're writing these Torah scrolls, these kosher Torah scrolls that are, year-long processes and things like that, they actually go through and they write the name first, everywhere that they can on that. When they're working on a single page, they have it measured out. They have rulers and lines and everything else on the page, and they will go through and they will do the name first. And every time they write the name, they say a blessing before they write the name. If they mess up on that page then has to be taken out and buried. You don't throw it away. You don't burn it. It's treated with respect and reverence and given a burial. So they are very, very, very serious about that name. And they should be, right? It is the name of our God. Now, the root for this week. The way this book series works is they'll give you a vocabulary word and then not test you on the root for that one. Then they'll give you a root and then not give you a word to go with it. It's kind of annoying at times, but it is what it is. But we now have the letters to get this root. Nun, Tav, Nun, Sofit. A word that goes with this is Natan. And if you want to transliterate it, Natan. And Natan. And it means give. Give. The root means to give, grant, or permit. On Shabbat, we say a blessing to the Messiah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lano, who gave to us. So we use this word a lot. It shows up a lot in the Torah. So Nun, Tav, Nun, Sofit, an important root to know, because you will see it. You see 7 words there that all use that same root. Occasionally, the first Nun will be dropped, depending on context. Matana, gift. They've dropped the first Nun, put a mem there instead. Maaseh, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. Masa umatan. Negotiations, give and take. Masa is to take, Natan to give. So it's actually take and give. But we think of it as give and take. The name Nathan, Natan. It's 2 commences. And it means he gave. And Yonatan, God gave. Okay. The rest is up to y'all for this week. 34, 35, and 36. On page 36, please turn to page 36.
Okay.
This is one of the editing mistakes in the book. Exercise 3, they split it across 2 pages. You're supposed to be drawing lines to match Hebrew words to English words, but they split it across 2 pages.
So if
So you have to figure out how to do it yourself. I wrote numbers next to mine when I did it. So, 2 over here is 2 over here kind of a thing.
I'm a highlighter.
So what's that?
I'm a highlighter.
Any way you want to, we're going to be reading the Hebrew when we actually, go over these next week. So however you choose to do it to match them up is fine. If you can read the Hebrew, you're obviously going to be able to figure out which English word it is. So that's where you need to be focusing, is how to pronounce those words so that you can find them. And please practice, practice, practice. Super important. Okay? Y'all good? We happy? Remember those rules for the Shabbat.
Yeah.
Go over them in your head. Go over them in reading. These reading practices will throw those at you all over the place. If it's going to be vocal, go through and circle it if you think it's vocal. Cross it out if you think it's silent. Make marks in the book. I mean, it's your book. Make marks in it so that you know in your head, okay, here's where I have to say it. Here's where I don't say it. It'll help you a lot when you get later on and you're running into this all the time. Okay? Are we good?
On your website,
Yes.
it's just, there's a practice exercise. But not for this class, it's just a previous teacher.
Yeah, it's old. That's an old one. We really need to pull those down. but yeah, that was Donna's class from like 7 or 8 years ago.
So these classes are there.
Not on the website. These classes are on our YouTube page. So
So YouTube.
go to YouTube, search for Valley of Blessing, and you'll find us. We have our own channel on YouTube. I try to put the posts up.
Oh, I was going to the website. Maybe down.
Yeah, Donna, our pastor's wife, is the one who used to teach this class. She now handles 3 and up. So I do Hebrew 1, Hebrew 2. She takes 3, and all the way up to
4, 5,
all the way up to 6.
She takes 4 different classes.
But yeah, if you go to Valley of Blessing or go to YouTube, search for Valley of Blessing, you'll find our channel, subscribe to it, and it'll let you know when we put these videos up. It's going out live right now, and it'll just stay up there. You'll see Hebrew 1 class with today's date, and it'll be there. Okay?
Very good.
Awesome, y'all.
Just in case.
Yeah, I did catch up. This is because I practiced tonight. Yeah.